Okay, it's saying that we are live, and this is about 3 minutes before showtime, about 3 minutes before showtime officially. And this is another emergency broadcast today. We're going to be talking about the new Submariner, and there is some information to discuss. And there are some people out there making bad decisions. Okay, wow, that's loud and clear. All right, Stig's in the house. Let me know how everything sounds on your end. And we got 5 folks in early for the pregame show. 2020 Submariner versus Grand Seiko Diver. What do you think? A Grand Seiko Stunner, which you can actually purchase. And I think if you purchase wisely, you could probably get one of those in really good condition for around $5,000. And versus a Submariner that you probably can't get. What do you think? You think you probably can't get the new Sub. The new Sub, and this is from a blog to watch. This is their posting. They do a good job. But what's interesting about some of these photos, you'll notice, it doesn't look like that thing could ever go underneath that cuff. It just does not look like that's ever going to happen. So I don't think that's the appropriate watch to be wearing with a shirt cuff in most cases. I think especially now that they've gone up to 41 mils, I think it's too much of a beast to put underneath a shirt cuff. That photo there kind of illustrates that, right? Okay, so let's look at some more pictures here. Okay, so here's the other thing. Here's my other observation on this. Yes, they have narrowed those lugs a little bit. I'll grant you that. But still, I think the bigger problem optically is the way they're so squared off and the way they're not rounded like the old ones. On the edges, the slab sides, everything is so slab-sided and so on and so squared off. That's one of the reasons why I think visually the super case is less desirable than the old cases that they had. And we'll take a look maybe a little later at the pictures of the red Sub again as a comparison. But I think there's more going on here than just the fact that the lugs are a little bit narrower. And here's the reason why I think they do this. The reason why I think Rolex does this is these look great in photos. They do look great in photos, and these sharp sides and just the nice slightly beveled edge there, it does look good in photos, and it looks good in blog postings, right? And that's where they sell these watches. That's how they sell these watches, is if they look good in blog postings like this picture we're looking at right here. But in actual use, it's not going to be as comfortable as on wrist as something like the 231 with the nice rounded lugs. See how those lugs are nice and rounded? The undersides are rounded, everything is rounded, and those are the surfaces that touch your skin when you pivot your wrist and so on. That's what lends to comfort. And I think what Rolex has decided to do is forget about daily usefulness and comfort, and let's all go for what they look like in the macro shots so that everybody in the forums can salivate over them and wish they could get a steel Rolex, right? I think that's the plan. And here's another shot where you can see those crown guards are very sharp edges to them, right? Not rounded off. And again, visually, from a standpoint of photography, it looks good. Right? So I think that's what they're doing. See here? They are geniuses when it comes to marketing. They really are. And getting people to pay a lot of money for a steel watch. So there, what do you think about my initial thoughts there? My initial thoughts on why they've stuck with this slab-sided semi-super case. We'll call this a semi-super case, right? That's what we'll call this new one, the semi-super. Stig was in the house way early. Mustang Will was early. Tom was in early. He said great sound. Perfect audio. Hi, Mustang and Tom. Stig. And Tom says hi all. And Mustang will agree. Audio sounds great. Lance is in the house. Hi, Craig and all. David Williams is in the house. David, Bitcoin took a little dump. I was tempted to buy some, but my gosh, I'm so hesitant to buy Bitcoin at over $10,000. I just can't wrap my head around Bitcoin over $10,000 here. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible. But it did take a dump. It went up around 12,000 yesterday, and now it's at 11,360, and kind of going sideways. I think it's manipulation. I think some of the whales are trying to accumulate at the lower prices, and I think they're trying to shake out some of the weak hands, and some of this is manipulation. And we've seen it quite often, same routine, right? They'll take out some shorts, and then they'll dump some Bitcoin and try to get some other people to panic and start dumping and try to drive the price down. And so their shorts, their 10x shorts will pay off. And then when it bottoms out, then they buy back the Bitcoin that they sold in the first place to start the panic. So they make it on both ends. They make it on the short. They make it because they sell at the top, and then they buy it back after the weak hands panic and sell. They buy it back. So I think that's how these whales are doing it. You have to be a whale to do that. You have to have nice chunks of coin to be able to manipulate the market that way. And as the market matures, they'll have a harder and harder time to do that, right? It'll get so that, before they could easily push it like 20%, right? They could push it down 20%, no big problem. Now they're lucky if they can get 5 to 8% of a pullback. So, but hey, they can still make a lot of money doing that. And the weak hands, they lose their Bitcoin. Let's see. Stig says, Craig has a point or two. You cannot buy a sub. They look good, but they are not that comfortable at all. I say this as an owner. There you go. Yeah, we call it the way we see it, and we call it the way it is on this channel. That's what we do. Sometimes it's not popular, and sometimes we get some hateful comments because we tell the truth, but that's what we do here on this channel. Rizzo's in the house. Do most people wear their watches that close to the hand? I don't, so they just won't get to me. Well, it's not just the hand. It's anywhere it touches your wrist, right? It's not from just the pivoting. It's anywhere the watch touches your wrist. If it has sharper edges and so forth, it's going to be less comfortable, right? So it's the whole deal. And Thermont Neighborhood is in the house. Keep up the great work. Well, there you go. We're trying our best. We are trying our best. Mustang Will's in the house. I agree also about a buy under 10K. I'm still waiting. Yeah, people are saying it's going to have to go back down to 9,600 to fill that CME futures gap, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I just don't know. Don't know. If it does, I will certainly buy some at those numbers, but I'm not sure we can count on that. Cheetown's in the house. He says, hey, Craig. Stig Rizzo, you have to wear a sub tightly. If not, it's all over the wrist because of the super case. There's a man speaking from experience. Thermont Neighborhood says blockchain may be a benefit to the local economy. Yeah, all this blockchain talk, I think it's kind of foolishness. I don't. All these quote projects that want to utilize the blockchain technology. The only thing that the blockchain technology is good for is Bitcoin. Hate to break the news to all these altcoiners, but it's the only thing is Bitcoin, because it was specifically designed. The whole concept, the whole thing was designed specifically with Bitcoin in mind, and it doesn't work for all these other projects because, first of all, it has to be decentralized, and you're not going to have it decentralized if some centralized entity created the thing in the first place. And if a whole bunch of people don't get behind it, you're not going to have the decentralization that you need, and you're not going to have the hash power to be secure, so it can easily have a 51% attack. So there's a long laundry list of reasons why none of these other use cases make any sense whatsoever. And it's a shame that all these people push these altcoins and these projects, right? Because what it does is it sours people to the whole concept, because they get burned on these altcoins, and then they act like Bitcoin's the same way, right? They lump them all together. And whereas there should be Bitcoin, which is the real deal over here, and it really makes sense to do, and then all this other stuff is hyperbole and junk. And really, they can't all die soon enough, if you ask me, because they're just really confuse the issue, and a lot of people get scammed, and a lot of people waste a lot of time and effort and energy on these projects that make no sense. And so they can't all go away soon enough, if you ask me. And I've seen them all come and go. I've seen thousands of Bitcoins come and go over the years. You know, there's always the latest thing, right? Right now it's DeFi, right? And all this scam stuff, right? But it's always something. And hopefully these charlatans will finally pack up their tents and leave, and let's just stick to Bitcoin. It's what makes sense. G-Town's in the house. I'd skip either watch and go for the 39 mil Tudor Black Bay 58. Oh, geez, I hope not. I hope not. I always wear my watches above the bone on my wrist. I normally do, but see, this 002 I can wear right. It's right on the bone now. It's actually above the bone right now, but I could wear it on the bone and below the bone. It's comfortable in any position because of the size of the case and because of the leather strap. And it is amazing. It's the first watch I've had that I can wear really in any position, and it's super comfortable. And talk about a stunner on wrist. Are you freaking kidding me? Look here, if you want to make a statement, you wear an 002. That's what you do. You know, let me tell you, see the way it plays with the light? See the way those indices play with the light, and even the hands? I mean, and if you saw it in person, I'm looking at it right now, the way it plays with the light, it's like, oh my goodness. No comparison. You take a Submariner and put it next to this. No comparison, folks. No comparison. The amount of wrist presence and shock value that the watch has. I mean, this makes a statement, but it's a classy statement. It's a subtle but powerful. Subtle but powerful. Sort of like Brie Fit dance. Sort of like her dancing. Subtle but powerful. Classy. Brie Fit dance. Hey Bree, let me know in the chat if you're still there. Let me know if you want me to put your bug up in the upper right hand corner. If you want me to put the Brie Fit dance bug up in the upper right hand corner, I'll put it up there for you. Let's see. Hello, Lady Brianna. Looking forward to your channel and your Rolex. There you go. The Thermont neighborhood, should small businesses accept Bitcoin as payment? Absolutely, they should. They absolutely should. I've been talking to Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers saying he should absolutely start advertising that he accepts it, because there are some whales that will buy things just because they can spend their Bitcoin. See, if they take their Bitcoin to an exchange and sell it, they got to pay capital gains tax on their huge gain that they've had on that Bitcoin, right? But if they buy something from Steve, technically, yeah, they're still supposed to pay it, but who's going to check? Who's going to know, right? I mean, for all practical purposes, they could send him the Bitcoin, he could send them the watch, and they're done, right? I mean, there's no reporting on that. And so that's why it's very beneficial for small businesses to accept Bitcoin, because there are people that will buy from them that otherwise may not, just because they can use their Bitcoin. So absolutely, it's a good idea to accept Bitcoin if you're a small business owner. Sig says, hello, Lady Brianna. Looking forward to your channel and your Rolex. There you go. Thermont, okay, I already read that one. Craig, I have emailed a photo of my Rolex Sub pre-ceramic for comparison with the new one. Okay, excellent, Tim. We will take a look. Small businesses need cash flow. Bitcoin will not be advisable. What? Are you crazy? Are you nuts? They can always turn it into cash in the fiat cash if they choose to, but why would they want to? My gosh, if they're smart, they'll hold as much as they possibly can in Bitcoin as opposed to fiat. Yeah, that's bad advice, Jipu. It's always good to accept the Bitcoin. Mr. Q's in the house. I'd rather get an 18-karat made in USA Weiss watch before these 10K steel Rolexes. There you go. Hey, send me a picture, Mr. Q. Send me a picture. We'll show that watch. All right, let's look at the pre-ceramic sub here. The pre-ceramic sub. There it is on wrist. See, looks great. Looks great. The lugs are a little more rounded. The crowns on either side of the crown are softer and more rounded. Absolutely makes sense. Why in the world would they trash that design? It made no sense whatsoever. Made no sense whatsoever. But now they've gone down that road so far that they can't, for whatever reason, they can't turn back. Right? They can't turn back. Bree says, yes, please. Okay, let's put her bug up. Let's put her bug up. Let's put the 231 on first. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to go to my media player here and see if I can find the BreeFit Dance bug. There we go. We got the BreeFit Dance bug. The BreeFitDance.com bug up on the channel. Just like that. By request from the lovely Brianna. Let's see. Okay, Craig, what do you think of the pre-ceramic two-tone bluesy sub? And also, by the way, Jipu, my point is that sometimes if a business accepts Bitcoin, they will get business that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. Now, it depends on what you're selling, but if for example, like Steve selling watches, right? If somebody in Timbuktu that has a bunch of Bitcoin decides they want to spend some of that Bitcoin, one thing they might look for is a luxury watch, right? And they might go out of their way to buy that watch from Steve when they normally would not have even considered it, right? If all he accepted was credit cards or cash, right? I mean, they're like, okay, forget about it because I want to spend my Bitcoin. That's the whole point. They want to spend their Bitcoin. And so if he makes it clear that he accepts Bitcoin, he might bring in some people that otherwise that's like found money to him. Because it's people that otherwise wouldn't buy from him. So that's the point. I mean, it's like found profit from him. And what he could do if he was smart is he could keep most of it in Bitcoin, but if he had to sell some of it, he could take like whatever his profit was on the watch, for example, and just leave that in Bitcoin, right? And take the cost of the watch out so he could replace the watch in inventory, and then take the profit and just leave it in Bitcoin or something like that. So a lot of, he has a lot of moves he can make once he makes that sale, right? If you don't make the sale at all, then you can't make any moves. So that's how that whole thing works. Cheetown, California. Craig, what do you think of the pre-ceramic two-tone bluesy sub? I really like the watch. Absolutely. Yes, I like it. I like it. Yes, I do. BreeFit Dance says, cool. Cheetown says, that's how a Submariner should wear, not with obese lugs in case. Cheetown. Lance is in the house. Send an email of a Submariner with an interesting dial. Okay, we will take a look. Mike's in the house. I think the two-tone works great with bluesy and the root beer. Okay, Mike's. Yeah, I think the root beer is rose gold, right? Two-tone steel and rose gold. So yeah, I would pass on the rose gold, but yellow gold all the way for me. See that? Yellow gold is eat up with class. Rose gold, not so much. Rose gold, not the way to go. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Is that real? Did they ever sell such a thing? I've never heard of such a thing. I guess is it something that somebody cobbled up, or was it real? Do tell. Let me know. I've never seen such a thing. Okay, let's see. In my honest opinion, She-Town says, the steel sub has become so blingy and overpriced that you might as well pay the extra money for the two-tone. How much extra is it for the two-tone? I would say maybe pay the extra money and get an all gold. That's another option, right? Just go for the all gold. If you want something to make a statement, Steve says it's not real. If you want something to make a statement, right, you got to go all 18 karat yellow gold. That's the only way you're going to make a statement. Any steel watch is not going to make a statement. I hate to tell you guys. I hate to break the news to you guys, but a steel watch is not going to make a statement. Nobody's going to give a rat's rear end about your steel watch. So if you're going to buy a watch as a utility watch, as a tool watch, get yourself something like that Grand Seiko and have a real tool watch. Have something that is substantial, that is titanium, that is extremely legible, that is spot on accurate, that has a very functional clasp that you can easily adjust while on wrist. You'll get something that's a real tool watch with the numbers 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 around the bezel, right? With all the numbers there. That's what you do. And you spend less money, and then you get yourself a gold stunner to go with it when you want to have, ratchet things up a few notches, right? That's what you do. And that's what I did. There's a method to the madness on this channel, folks. There's a method to the madness. Okay. Craig sent an email, watch for Bree. They accept Bitcoin. Kevin D. Okay, let's take a look. Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to spend my Bitcoin on a watch. I don't want to spend my Bitcoin. Some people do, but I'm not one of them. I ain't spending my Bitcoin. I'm keeping my Bitcoin. Okay. First, we're going to look at this gold watch. If I can get this to load in. Here we go. Here it is. 8950. Los Angeles, California. That's cool. It's kind of cool. Is it okay? I mean, I was going to say the lugs could be more rounded as opposed to having that bump in them, right? They could just be a nice round there. But, I mean, I'm kind of picky. I think in some ways it's kind of cool. It's kind of modern looking. I think it's kind of cool. Now, for me, it would have to have a deployant clasp. I wonder if they could offer one with a deployant clasp. But yeah, I mean, would I buy it? Probably not, but it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. There you go, on the channel. All right, let's see what Kevin sent us here for the lovely Lady Bree. For the lovely Lady Bree. Her bug is up the upper right-hand corner, BreeFitDance.com. This is from Essential Watches of Beverly Hills. And let's see here. Pre-owned Rolex. Problem is it's a 5-digit. I really don't think we want to go with a 5-digit for Bree. I think we want a 6-digit. I think we really do. But it's interesting. It is interesting. It's got the white gold fluted bezel. It is a Datejust. It's a pretty good price. It's a shame it's a 5-digit watch. It's kind of a shame it's a 5-digit watch. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Am I wrong to just straight up poo-poo a 5-digit piece? Because it's a nice looking piece. I'm not a big Roman numeral guy, but it's a nice looking piece. I'm guessing those Roman numerals are white gold, and I'm guessing those hands are white gold. On a 5-digit, is all that hardware on the dial? Is that all white gold? Those hands look a little funky. Look a little kind of funny. They don't look like the normal Rolex hands. Of course, there's no lume. So I think for a few reasons we might hold off on that one. We might pass on that one. Let's see. Let's see. Craig isn't going to like Weiss watches, I guarantee. Weiss Everyday Stunner on email. Okay, yeah, that's what we just showed. I just saw the 38mm Weiss field watch on the website. That's Stunner. Okay. He does not like sub-seconds. I'm not a big fan of sub-seconds, but it's not the end of the world. It wouldn't be the end of the world. I'm just not a big fan. Sending you a link to some bluesy listings. Okay, we'll look at that. Briefit Dance says, looks cool. Okay. Briefit Dance, watching the show. Watching the show. Okay. Some bluesies. Some bluesies. Wow, it's amazing. That one's $7,000. I wonder if it's got a bunch of stretch in the bracelet. Oh, that's an estimated price. So it's going to be auctioned. So we don't even know what the real price is. So that doesn't do us any good. That doesn't do us any good. Let's see what else we got here. I kind of like the black, personally. I don't know if I'd go bluesy. I think I might go with the black. I think that's stunning. I think that's a stunner. And it looks pretty tight. It looks pretty tight. Now, okay, so assuming that watch is in good shape, assuming it's in good shape, okay, we could check it out, but assuming it's in good shape, my gosh, I would much rather buy that watch than a new Submariner date for about the same price. I mean, absolutely, not even a question. I would buy that. Yes, absolutely, I would. Bree says, I do like Roman numerals, says the lovely Bree. In order for the sub to be better. Okay, very impressive watches. Tim's in the house. I'm not a fan of the Roman numerals, but I'm not Bree. Well, on a small watch, Bree, when it's small and it's on your wrist, they might be a little busy in real life, right? You're looking at a macro photo, it's a little different. Remember, this is a pretty small watch, so you don't really want the dial to be that busy, you know? So just the normal markers are probably the way to go. But we need to cut, measure 7 times and cut once for Bree. We got to make sure we get the right watch because this is a lifetime decision. And, I mean, she can keep that watch probably longer than she ends up keeping her husband's, right? Notice I said husbands with an S because most females these days get married more than once, right? So, but she could go through several husbands and still have that watch, right? So it's probably more of a lifetime thing than a lot of things, right? Isn't that a sad commentary on our society these days? The Bluesy has a gorgeous blue dial, yellow gold, and can be dressed up or down. It's an ideal one-and-done Rolex. What do you think about this black one, though? You could say the same thing about that black. That would be extremely versatile. What do you think? Do tell. I like both. I will tell you I like both, but I'd kind of lean a little bit more towards the black. Mr. Q, Cheetown, and made in USA by one artisan, manual wound, no Rolex can touch it. There you go. Fisso Bowser, it's hilarious how steel Rolex models are higher priced than two-tone. Let's face the fact that Rolex subs are becoming fashion pieces, so go ahead and get a two-tone one. Good point. Mr. Q, I might have to put a Weiss watch on my radar for the future, says Cheetown. Send a photo of a Tudor for Bree. No. I'll show it just for laughs, but we're not getting a Tudor for Bree. Right, not too busy of a watch. Okay, the black two-tone is excellent too, but the blue wins my eyes more, says Cheetown. Okay, Craig, have any of your buddies ever purchased replica watches? If so, did you slap them and tell them these go? I don't remember anybody buying fakes. Of course, back in the day, they weren't quite as common as they are now. They were around, but I don't think they were quite as common as they are now. But no, I don't recall it really being a thing back in the day. Steve's in the house. Vintage two-tone root beer is the way to go. What about watches that have the minute and hour hands on a sub-dial? I really don't get that dial. F. Freejarn does it. Yeah, I think I would pass on all that. Cheetown, if I'm spending 10 plus grand on a dive watch, I demand some gold in it. For not much more, I think you can get one that's all gold. Couldn't you get one like this watch here? Couldn't you get one that was all gold for 14, 15 grand? Add another 5 grand to that? Couldn't you get an all gold? That's probably what I would do and call it a day, right? Do that and call it a day. Cheetown's in the house. Okay, I already read that one. Here's another one from Cheetown. Craig, did you hear about these guys with Hulks salivating over the idea of their watches going for 50K? Hey, if they can get 50K, more power to them. I'd take it and run. I'd take the money and run. If a fool wants to part with his money, you might as well let him. Because fools are going to lose their money one way or the other, right? They're going to lose their money. They'll buy some altcoins or something, right? They'll lose their money one way or the other, so you might as well help them out. Here's that Tudor. Yeah, I don't think a Tudor is in the offing. I mean, it's not a hateful watch, but no, Brie has a lot more class than a Tudor, I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Brie has a lot more class than wanting a Tudor? Here's a wrist shot. Look at this. Look at that. Wow. Look at the light catching that. Look at the light catching the gold. Whoa. Nice. Nice. I'll tell you what, that would also look very nice with a black strap. I hate to say it, but that would look really nice with a black strap. Just coming right out and saying that. All right, let's see. All gold 5-digit subs are 20 plus grand. Okay, so yeah, so that he'd have to double the price then. Okay, still might be worth it. A gold sub, think about the weight, 170 grams. That's very heavy. Well, yeah, you're going to have heavy either way. They're going to be heavy. I mean, that ship has sailed. Subs are pretty heavy no matter what, really. Let's see. Eduardo says, send a picture from yesterday to take the sour taste of Tudor out of your mouths. Okay. A Porsche 911 Turbo would bring me more joy than any steel watch. There you go. Might also be more expensive to maintain, though, so there's that, right? And you got to keep it inside, and so all these things start, insurance is pretty expensive, so all these things start adding up. The new sub is about 160 grams or so. Might as well go for the all-gold 5-digit model. There you go. Mike says, the guy that buys a Hulk now is the same guy who chases a stock market that just went up 40%. Festo says, Craig, Tudor is starting to make slim divers with classy proportional lugs. You should reconsider. No. I'd rather just stay with the GS. Stay with the GS. I've got the bulletproof spring drive. Look at that second hand. No Tudor can do that. Look at that second hand. Give you a moment to take that in. And titanium, super comfortable on wrist, super flexible bracelet, super comfortable. Just the right amount of bling, perfect shape to the case. clasp that's very easy to adjust on wrist. I mean, it's just got everything. It's got the full checklist. So yeah, I'll just stick with that. Not going to go back to a Tudor. That would be going backwards. Mr. Q is being too rational here. Better ban him from the Rolex forums. That Tudor was a dud, says Fisto. Cheatown says the Black Bay 58 is hands down better than the new sub, but when it comes to proportions, the new sub, when it comes to proportions on the wrist, yeah, I would pass on that. Okay, so let's see. Mr. Q, true. I may be violating their communal standards. Okay, Cheatown. Mr. Q, you're not allowed to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You're supposed to cower it away in a safety deposit box for the next guy to enjoy. In other words, your watch. You're not supposed to wear these watches. That's exactly right. I don't think any of these guys can actually wear these watches that they show on the social media and talk about all the time because they're worried about the value of those watches, right? Heaven forbid if they actually wore them and they got some scratches on them and so forth, that would affect the value, right? That would affect the investment value. So heaven forbid if they actually wear them. Can you imagine? Let's see. Kyle in the house, absolutely. And Mike says life goes by in the flash of an eye. I can attest to that. Like that, folks. That's why I say wear your watches. You're going to mark my words. 20, 30 years from now, you're going to say, damn, I should have listened to Craig. I should have enjoyed life. I should have worn the watches. I shouldn't have kept it in the box like new and taken it out and regarded it occasionally. I should have actually gotten out of the house, gotten out of the basement, and actually worn the watch. And, you know, gone to some fun events and stuff like that. That's what I should have done. Let's see. And Kyle says, Cheatown, I know, late, having internet issues. Uh-oh. What happened to your internet? What happened to your internet? Do tell. Lance says, Craig, would you wear a watch that is smaller than 36 mil? I did briefly. The dress watch I had was 35.5 mils, I think. And it was a little bit small on my wrist, but that was just because it had very petite lugs. I mean, the way it was designed and all also made it look a little smaller. So, no, I think I would stick with 36 mils. I think that's the ideal size for me. Like a 36 mil Datejust would be kind of like just right for a, you know, for the smallest watch that I would wear. I think that would be it. Cheatown's in the house. If you want top dollar for your Hulk, then absolutely cannot wear it whatsoever. That's why no one complains about how ugly the green bezel is. They never wear the watch, says Cheatown. Oh, boy. Kyle Jet, better late than never. There you go. All right. Let's look at the rest of this. Oh, by the way, the Rob Report, they also had an article. I put the link in the description about the new subs, okay, the new releases. So they have a nice report on it. So if you want to take a gander at that, the link is in the description of the video. So there you go. And I have to tell you, that two-tone, that bluesy, that new bluesy, that's a nice looking piece. That's a nice looking piece. Of the three there, of the three that you see in the picture right now, I would absolutely go with the one in the middle. Absolutely go with the one in the middle of those three, right? Now, the all gold is absolutely stunning. I'd pass on this silly thing with the rubber strap. Are you kidding me? I'm going to pay a ton of money for that. Not going to happen. These three, I would like this one here. The black dial's okay too, but no, I'd pass on that green. I just don't like that shade. And these funky ones, I don't know about that. I'd kind of pass on all that. And what else? Just 31s. They didn't show the all gold sub. They didn't show that. Okay. So there's the Rob Report article. Craig, I just sent a picture of someone trying to mug my SBGN 005. All right, we'll take a look at that. I think I need a new router, says Kyle. Uh-oh. I'm seeing more excitement for the new oysters than the subs. Okay, oyster petrels, I guess. Cheetown, if they make a BB58 in Burgundy, I'm buying one. Uh-oh. The new 41 millimeter bluesy is my favorite of the bunch. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the let's take a look at the email here again. Once again, the show is flying by. Uh-oh, look at this. Look at this. The turtle making a move on the watch. Making a move on the Grand Seiko. Absolutely. See, Rolex could learn a little bit from the case design of that watch. See how the lugs are designed and so forth. See how they wrap around your wrist and see how they, got some nice shape to them. They could actually learn a few things. Get out a notepad, take down a few notes. Kyle says, I wish all the colorways were offered in non-date. Okay, I'm with you. Yes, absolutely. I like the no-date sub myself. The Oyster Perpetual range dropped to 39 mil and the white dial and made it too big. So it's a total pass for me. I'd rather go for Datejust 36. Oh, I agree. I think the 41 mil is no man's land to me. It's too big for a all-arounder / dress, right? Those are nice and trim, so those can be used for dress purposes. It's just too big. Unless you're an NFL football player, right? If you got a huge wrist, you got an 8-inch or bigger wrist, then I think the new ones are fine, right? 8 inches or bigger, you're probably okay. Maybe 8.5 inch. You're probably okay. But other than that, I think I'd pass on that. All this talk about Rolex reducing case size by fractions of millimeters. Meanwhile, GS is gearing up the new 72-hour spring drive movement. GS has been coming out with some interesting pieces lately. They really have. But like I talked about the other day, it's still hard to beat the old 231 for a sport watch, right? For a sport watch, it's very, very difficult to top that 231 piece. Very, very difficult. Okay. Let's see. Oyster Petrol 39 was a fine size. There you go. In my opinion, the Yachtmaster case is the winner by a lot. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The Yachtmaster is stunning. I think the case is pretty much the same as a Daytona, right? Isn't it pretty much the same case shape and size? That's exactly the way it should be. Cheetown, the Oyster Petrol 41 to me looks like a stripped down Datejust 41. The OP39 was perfectly fine, so I'm annoyed that they got rid of it. John says, Tudor Pelagos is the only Tudor I'd buy. In fact, I did. Yeah, I would kind of pass on that, but okay. If you got it and you like it, wear it, enjoy it, that's fine. But yeah, I would never buy a Tudor. Let me think. What else? Let's make sure that we reviewed this whole article before I shut this part down. This is the Blog to Watch article. Sure we didn't miss anything. See, even that picture there shows it doesn't seem to hug the wrist. See, it doesn't. See how it's like jutting out away from the wrist there, and see the sharp edges. I just don't. I guess they think it. Like I say, I guess they think it looks good in pictures and it looks good in blog posts. But from a standpoint of actually using the watch, there's a lot of sharp edges on that watch. And here's another example of, I don't think that watch would ever go underneath that cuff. I don't think it would ever go underneath that cuff. See, same thing. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that watch going underneath that cuff. And I hate to have a watch that has to be outside the cuff. Now this watch right here, right now, is kind of semi outside my cuff. But if I want to put it inside, I can easily put it inside the cuff, right? I can do both. That's what I want. I want that kind of flexibility. And I don't want to have to stuff it under the cuff. I want it to easily fit underneath the cuff if I'm wearing it with a cuff, right? Now, if I'm wearing it with a polo shirt or with my sleeves rolled up, it's a non-issue, but okay. All right. That takes care of the blog to watch article. Let's see here. Cheetown, the new sub is almost 50 millimeters lug to lug, and the horns make it stick out even more. Okay. Interesting point. Interesting data point. All right. We've got 50 live viewers. Anybody else have any comments? I might wrap this up early. I might, because I don't know what else there is to talk about, unless you guys can come up with something. Lovely Brianna hasn't Skyped in, so we can't let her entertain you. So maybe Kyle can Skype in and give us a report from the West Coast. That's possible. Let's see. Yes, same as the Daytona, says Mike. Cheetown says John. The Pelagos is the tool watch that the Submariner forgot it was. Okay. Applegate Management. What are the celebrities sporting? Well, most of them, it depends on who they are. If they're real tacky, they've got Rolexes full of diamonds and stuff, right? Gold Rolexes blinged out. If they're real tacky. Lance is in the house. The Tudor Black Bay 36 is pretty cool. If they change the snowflake hands to regular Mercedes hands, I would buy it. That would be a big improvement, but I still would not recommend buying a Tudor under any circumstances. Cheetown's in the house. The new sub is almost 50 millimeter lug to lug. Okay, I already read that. Also, the bracelet on the new sub is also bigger, I believe, so assuming also heavier. Well, sure. Cheetown says, Craig, would you agree that the pre-ceramic and vintage subs are the models that look good from any angle you see? A lot better, a lot better. Let's go ahead and pull up the photos of the red sub again from yesterday. I showed that. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, there's the red sub straight on view. See how nicely rounded those lugs are, and see the shape of them and everything, and see the crown guards, how they're kind of rounded and not so big. And then here's the side view. See, it's much more elegant looking, much classier looking. Now, it would be, of course, a ton better looking if it just had the flat crystal, right? That has the old plastic, crystal. So if it had the sapphire, right, and it was flat across, it'd make a big difference, and that would be really nice. Really nice. Now, that said, I think the Yachtmaster case is even nicer still, right? Is even nicer still. So, something to think about. Something to think about. I say, something to think about. Let's see. Tim McDonald, 21 millimeter lug width on the new sub. Okay, do you know about the Ridge wallet? No, I don't. Applegate Management. No, I don't. Let's see. Lewis says, love or hate the GS, but they know how to make a watch that fits on the wrist well, and they know how to make a watch that has extremely good finishing and works well too. That's something, right? Let's see. Rolex watches are designed the way they are because they were not meant to be worn anyway. Cheetown says the tacky celebrities wear $5 T-shirts, ripped jeans, and 5711 Nautiluses. Yeah, exactly. Briefit Dance says, any prospective guests for my upcoming live show? There you go. She's looking for guests. Reach out to the lovely Bree if you want to be a guest on her show. Kyle's in the house. I wish I could, but I'm trying to get this Wi-Fi resolved here. Okay. Maybe you guys can Skype in on Bree's premiere show on September 11 on this network. Maybe you guys can Skype in. Let's see. My friend says the new sub will look better if you polish the heck out of the case. Bree, what time is the show? There you go. It's the same bat time, 5 o'clock Eastern time. My vote goes Bluesy Sub or Yachtmaster 40. There you go. Good voting. Good. I say good recommendations there. Craig, which would you choose between a Tudor Black Bay and or Breitling Super Ocean? I'd probably go with neither, but if I was forced, I might go with the Breitling, but I wouldn't be happy with either, so I'd probably just try to avoid the whole situation and get the 231 and be done with it. Get the 231 and call it a day. It's probably what I would do. SBGA 231, Grand Seiko. A sleeper that nobody really knows about. Not that many people know about it, right? They really don't. Let's see. Craig, I've been watching since the lockdown started. I'm convinced / brainwashed I don't want steel anymore. My next watch will be yellow gold. Okay. You'll love it. You will, as long as your accessories that go with it are also yellow gold. You want everything to match, right? Now you can wear, the belt buckle can be brass, can be solid brass, right? Not brass plated, but solid brass. That'll work. But yeah, everything, you should try to have everything gold to go along with it, and you will be absolutely happy with that. Let's see. Cheetown says, you got to step up to yellow gold. Another steel watch is just a sidestep. Absolutely. I can't get over some of these forum watch warriors that post their quote collections, right? And they've got like 15 steel Rolexes, right? And many of them sport watches, and like 3 or 4 subs, 3 or 4 GMTs, a couple of Daytonas, all steel, everything steel. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm going, you've got like $100,000 worth of watches here, or 150, maybe in some cases $200,000 worth of watches, and you don't have one decent watch to wear in the whole bunch. Not one date 8, just one, just buy one, just buy a date 8, just one, and then put it on your wrist. I mean, is this hard? But no, they got to buy 15 or 20 steel stunners and put them in a box, and then take pictures of them and share them on social media while their house isn't paid off and their car's got a 8-year note on it. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Let's see. 231s are hard to find. I think Steve has one in stock. I think he's got one in stock. Talk to Steve at Little Treasury. The link is in the description, littletreasury.com. Mike's in the house. Cheetown, same reason anybody looking at the 41-day date should... At the 41-day date. It's a date... Was that the one before the date 840? Was it a 41? Should go with a Jubilee, not an Oyster. The Oyster pushes it over 50 millimeters. Okay, not sure exactly what you're talking about there. Okay. I have a date just two-tone, going to sell it, add to the gold watch fund. There you go. I don't blame you. The Cheetown's in the house. But the Datejust 41 is too big on my wrist. Yeah, I agree with that. The Datejust 41 does not seem like the way to go to me, and not one yellow gold piece. What gold watch did you have in mind? Date 8. Yep, date 8. Yep, you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong with a date 8. Date 8-2 versus date 840. Not a close call. The date 8-2 was a total fail. I don't know why they did that. That was ugly, and the was it the Datejust 2, the one that they came out with also before the current Datejust? Was it called the Datejust 2? That was a fail as well. Both of those were fails, and that's why they got rid of them pretty quick. The proportions were all wrong on the Date 2. Cheatown, don't take any guy who says a steel Rolex is a great investment while he owes payments on the new BMW seriously. Craig, should people with car notes own a luxury watches? I would think not. I would think it's not a good idea to have a car note, period. I don't think it's a good idea to have any notes, period. A mortgage, anything. I like to pay for the things I buy. But then again, I'm a weirdo, so there you go. I don't like having any debt. I just feel much more comfortable when I know I don't have any debt. So when the first of the month, I don't dread when the first of the month comes around. As a matter of fact, when the first of the month comes around for me, I get more income coming in because people pay me the rent that they owe me on the houses that I own that they're renting, right? And so I get my rent payments. I get my other payments come in. I do all my billing for my sponsors. All that money starts rolling in. So the first of the month for me is like a pleasurable time, right? For people that have to make payments on things, it's the opposite, right? So that's how that whole thing works. Sorry, Craig, I was talking about the Datejust. Okay. I couldn't afford anything when I had a car note. There you go. Only reason to owe payments on a car if you have a luxury watch is if you are leasing it as a tax write-off for your business. Yeah, but there are much better ways to do that too. It's still, leasing is the most expensive way to own a car, period. There are other ways you can expense your vehicle if you're using it for company purposes without paying way too much for the car in the first place, which is what you do when you lease a car. You basically get, as Dave Ramsey would say, it's a fleece. It's a fleece, right? So there you go. Let's see. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up a couple minutes early. We'll give you some time to put your questions in there. And you can see the bug up in the upper right hand or left hand, depending on how you're looking at this whole thing. In the upper corner of the screen, see the little BreeFitDance.com bug. So that's saying that you should go check out the lovely Lady Bree. Let me show the picture. In case anybody doesn't know who I'm talking about, somebody's been under the rock for a while. Let me find this picture of the lovely Lady Brianna. And this one's called Bree-Fit Dance Stunning. And I think that's an accurate description. Bree-Fit Dance Stunning. That's the lovely Lady Brianna. That was taken when we were shooting a video of her dancing. We took a little still. And so that's the URL, BreeFitDance.com, BreeFitDance.com. That's where you go to learn about her. And so we'll put her bug back up in the upper corner there. Actually, what we'll do, we're going to do Steve a solid. I'm going to put the Little Treasury one up in there. Where is it here? Little Treasury. Here we go. I'm going to put the Little Treasury bug up there. Give Steve a solid. His link is in the description, littletreasury.com, littletreasury.com. He's got to get a bug made that has the littletreasury.com on it also. That would be good. All right, fleecing your cars. Let's see. All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Bree can dance. Yes, she can, and she's getting better all the time at the hooping, at the hoop dancing. She's going to incorporate her wonderful dancing into the hoop dancing, and it is going to be something to see. I will tell you, it will be something to see. So, on that note, we're going to wrap this puppy up. And by the way, you can buy that. You can buy that watch at Little Treasury Jewelers. At Little Treasury Jewelers, you can buy that watch that you see on the screen. What about 238? Not sure what that is. 238. Blockchain trade market. We got these blockchain scammers in here. All right. All right, we're going to let you guys go, and we will see you guys next time. Let's see. Got to get Bree in the hot seat next to Steve in the next Little Treasury video. Well, she's going to be, a week from this Friday, she's going to be doing her own live show, so that she'll be in the hot seat, absolutely. So tune into that for sure. And let's see, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Briefit Dance says, have a good evening, everyone. That's what I think we should all do. We should all have a good evening. Thanks for watching, everybody.